Hi everyone, I'm Clem and welcome back to my channel. So 2019 is coming to an end, which means that we're close to 2020 and all the books that are going to come out in 2020. So as you may have guessed with the title of this video, I'm going to talk about my most anticipated releases for 2020. These are not all the books I'm expecting for 2020, and I'm sure that throughout the year I'm going to find new books that I'm going to be excited about. But here you are going to have 10 books I'm really excited about. So the first book I'm going to mention is My Calamity Jane by the Lady Jenny, so Cynthia Hand, Jodie Meadows and Brody Ashton. It's coming out on June 2nd and it's going to be the conclusion to the Lady Jenny's trilogy. So the first one being My Plain Jane and the second one, first one being Lady Jane and the second one being My Plain Jane. In this one, we're following the life of Calamity Jane, and as you might know if you've read this series, the Lady Jane, so the authors are taking the life of popular Janes in history, and they are twisting it up. Like in the first one, they add magic to it, in the second one, they add ghost, and in this one, in Calamity Jane, they are adding, I think, some werewolf story, and I don't know that much what's going to happen in this book. I don't really know what's going to happen. I just know that I can't wait to read this because I've loved the first one. The second one was also amazing, so I can't wait to read the last one because these are some of my favorite books, so I'm really excited about this. The second book I'm really excited about is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, and it's coming out on the 3rd of March. So this will be the first book in the new trilogy by Cassandra Clare called The Last Hour. And in this trilogy, we're going back in the past and we're going to follow the lives of the son and daughters of Will, Tess, Jem, but all the characters from the Infernal Devices. So they're going to be James, Cordelia, the Blackthorns, but also the Carstairs, all these very amazing children. And so far, we don't know really what's going to happen. We just know that we're going to follow them, but there's peace in the shadow world, and some point in the story there's not going to be peace because, like, there's going to be troubles because we need a story. So I don't know what it's going to be about. I'm just excited because it's Cassandra Clare and I love the Shadowhunters books like I've always had. So I can't be anything else but excited for this book, so I can't wait to be on March 1st to have it and to read it. The third book is The Kingdom of Back by Mary Lou, and it's also coming out on March the 3rd. This is the first book in the series of duology by Mary Lou, and it's a YA fantasy and historical series. And it's following the life of Nanel Mozart, so the sister of the very famous Wolfgang Mozart. So Nanel is as brilliant as Wolfgang, but she lives in the 18th century, and so it's a bit forbidden for women to compose and to be musicians. But one day a very weird man is coming from magical land, and he tells her that he can grant a wish to be remembered, to become famous, but it might come with a price that she's not ready to pay. And that's basically what's happening in the story. That's all I know. But for things I'm sure, it's Mary Lou, so I'm sure I'm going to love it. It's historical fantasy. It sounds amazing, and it's about the Mozart family. Like how can you not be pumped about this book? Like, since the first time she announced it, I was like, I want to read this book so bad, and the cover is just so gorgeous. Like, I'm in love with it already. So on February the 6th, Heartstopper Volume 2 by Liza Sussman is coming out, and this is a book I'm waiting for because after the end of the second book, I just want to have more of Nyx and Charlie's story. Like, I just want more. And in this book, they're going to Paris with their class, and so I can't wait to see this because, I don't know, I love reading about Paris because Paris is like my city, even though I don't live in Paris. It's like my city, like I live very close to it, so I'm very attached to it. So I love when books are coming to Paris because I like to see what authors picked up from Paris and what they are going to tell to people about Paris. Like, I love it. So I really can't wait. It's actually coming very soon. So yeah, I can't wait. The next book I'm waiting for is Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller, and it's coming out on the 4th of February. So this book is about basically like a princess switch. So you have on one side Emily de Marais, and Emily de Marais is a noble, but she doesn't want to be a noble. Like, she wants to be a surgeon, but she can't because she's a noble. And on the other side you have Annette Boucher, and Annette Boucher is not a noble girl, and she wants to learn magic. So they're going to exchange the place. Like, Emily is going to take the place of Annette, and she's going to train to be a surgeon, and Annette is going to be a noble, and she's going to learn the art of divination. So basically a basic princess switch, but at some point they have to come together to stop a war that started in their country, which is based on lies, and they have to work together to stop it. Like, I mean, it's a fantasy book, so they have to come together and save the world, basically. The reason I'm excited for this book is, first, I love a good princess switch. Like, I'm a sucker for these tropes, so I can't wait. And also, the two main characters are going to be together. Like, so this book features a gay relationship, and it's something I'm not reading enough, like a relationship between two girls. I read a lot of male and male relationship, but not female and female. So I can't wait to read more of this. And I don't know, I'm just excited. Like, I heard someone talked about this and it sounded amazing, so I had to add it to my reading list. The next book is a book I'm highly anticipating, and it's Clap When You're Late by Elizabeth Acevedo. So she's the one who wrote With a Fire on Eye and Poet X. And in this book you're following two sisters, but actually they don't know they're sisters. So at the beginning you have Camino, and Camino lives in Dominican Republic, and Youre lives in the United States, and they don't know they exist. But Camino is waiting for a father to come to the Dominican Republic, but actually the plane crashed, and so the father dies, and so the two girls actually discover that their father had another life. Like, Youre discovered that the father had a family in Dominican Republic, and the same for Camino discovered that he had a life in the United States. So they discover that they are sisters, actually, and basically they're going to have to learn what these sister things mean. And actually, I think it's going to be a lot about greed, but also about secret and family. I've loved With a Fire on Eye by Elizabeth Acevedo. I can't wait to read The Poet X, because I feel like in her stories it's really about real things. Like the themes are really concrete in a way, if I can say that. I don't know, I feel like it could be like true stories, like testimonies, and I love that because it's still YA, but it seems so true and I love it. So I can't wait to read this book. A book I'm waiting for so bad is The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and it's the next book, like the new book in the Hunger Game world, and I'm so happy that we get a new book, because The Hunger Games is one of my favorite series of all time. I've read it so many times. I'm crazy about this series. So to know that we're going to be able to go back in this world, like, I just want to thank anyone who made this happen. Like, thank you so much. In this book we don't know a lot about it. We just know that it's coming out on the 19th of May, and then it's going to be about what happened during the 10th Hunger Games. Yeah, Hunger Games. It could be about the meals in Hunger Games, like in Panem. I would love it, so I'm sure I'm going to love it. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm just surprised because this book seems to be super long compared to the rest of them. Like, it's 540 pages. I'm super happy, but at the same time I'm wondering what it's going to be about, so I can't wait. I can't wait to be in May to read this beauty. The next book is actually a sequel to a series, and it's The Deck of Almond by Christian Lynn Ammon. So the first book was The Devouring Grey, and this book is coming out on the 21st of April, I think. If you don't know what The Devouring Grey was, I'm just going to read you the synopsis because it's going to do a way better job than me. So I'm going to read it to you. So, operated from the city, Violet Sanders doesn't have much hope of fitting in at a new school in Four Paths, a town almost buried in the woodland of rural New York. The fact that she descended from one of the town's founders doesn't help much either. Her new neighbors treat her with distant respect and something very like fear. When she meets Justin, May, Isaac, and Harper, all children of founders' families, and sees the all otherworldly destruction they can wreak, she starts to wonder if the townsfolk are right to be afraid. When bodies starts to appear in the woods, the locals become downright hostile. Can the teenagers solve the mystery of Four Paths and their own part in it before any other calamity strikes? It was a really great book. I was surprised because I read it because I had to read it for my book club. So at first I didn't want to read it, but it was really, really great. I really enjoyed it. So it's natural that I want to read the second one. So yeah, it's just why I want to read it. And the last book I'm going to mention in this video is Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, and it's coming out on the 7th of May. So I've just learned recently about this book, but it sounds amazing, and it's happening during the French Revolution, and I feel like I have something with books happening during the French Revolution. So in this story, we're following Camille, and Camille is, I'm sorry I'm going to say all the words in the French accent because there are French names and French words. So Camille is at the lead of a group who saves people from the guillotine, and they're called Le Bataillon des Morts. And so they help all the people from being killed. And one day they save this girl, but this girl is really weird because apparently she has magical powers, and both the revolutionaries and the aristocrats want it, and so we're going to find out what she is, and actually maybe it's going to lead to a war. Actually, we don't really know what's going to happen. This is just for me the synopsis, what's roughly happening in the book. You have Camille, and she's at the head of a group of very, very weird people. We have a deserter, a runaway girl, an aristocrat in hiding. So yes, they're really a band of outcasts, a bit like in Six of Crows. So actually from this I'm really intrigued and I want to know what's going to happen. And once again, it's happening in France during a very, very important moment in our history. So I love reading about this to see actually what strangers, foreign people actually understand from this. And I don't know, I love reading about my story and my country, so yeah, I have to read it. So yeah guys, that's it for the books I'm waiting in 2020. Tell me in the comments down below what is the book you're waiting the most. I would love to know, maybe we have some in commons. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if it's not already done, and I will see you next time. Bye.